And welcome to the Bobcat postgame show. I'm the coach, Dick Cox, joined by Dustin Phifer. No, they're not warming up for overtime here, but boy, we thought we were going to have overtime there. Bobcats, 30-point lead, cruising midway third quarter. Momentum swung to the Raptors, and I tell you what, when momentum swings, it's hard to get Mighty Mo back sometimes.
You're right, Coach. I mean, the Bobcats had everything going, got that 30-point lead in the third quarter, led by 19 at halftime, just clicking on both ends of the floor. A very good defensive effort early on, but it looks like you said, as a coach, sometimes your players get that big lead, they let up on the intensity, and the Raptors, who are a good basketball team, sitting at 500 right now, made a comeback, made a run. And like they say, everybody in the NBA makes a run, and here came the Raptors, and we thought maybe it would end and not get all the way back, but the Raptors got all the way back to a 1-point deficit, missed a free throw to tie it, and the Bobcats were able to make some free throws down the stretch and escape with the win. And it was a good performance for three quarters. They let up, but it's still a good win over a playoff team right now, and that's a big win without Kemba Walker after the first game, him missing with an injury. So
it's like Ramon Sessions said after the ball game, you expect NBA teams to make a run, but he said when teams get on a run, sometimes it's scary because there's not a whole lot you can do to stop it. And that's basically about everything that could go right went right for the Raptors as they came from 30 down, got fouled with a chance to tie it in the closing seconds and missed the free throw. Could have been interesting. If it ends up a tie ball game with 17 seconds to go, Bobcats get last shot. This could have actually been a devastating loss that possibly could have turned the whole season.
Yeah, very interesting. The way the Raptors got back in the game, were hitting a lot of three-point shots, but as well, Coach Clifford talked about it in the postgame. The Bobcats just turned the ball over too much, and they gave them fast break points, gave them easy looks. They were pulling up for three in transition. Clifford was trying to call timeouts. The Bobcats were trying to regroup, but like you said, Coach, when a team gets on a roll like that, it's tough to stop. And luckily for the Bobcats, the Raptors miss a free throw late. The Bobcats hang on to a 1-point lead, and then they make their free throws down the stretch to get their 18th win of the season. So, again, I think that's a great win against the playoff team right now with your first game without Kemba Walker. You talked about Sessions stepping up big. He went to the line 11 times. He scored 23 points. Pargo, the backup point guard who hasn't played a lot the entire year, comes in, scores 11 points. So, big-time play by the point guards. And then, of course, Al Jefferson just keeps doing what he's doing. 22 points, 19 rebounds. And a lot of people will see this stat from a center, but 7 assists. So he did it all. And, I mean, it's great that he stepped up with Kemba out. And, it's like I said, it's a good win without your best player, the point guard, Kemba Walker.
As a former coach, there is no more frustrating feeling when you get a situation where a team gets a run and you feel it, in the words of Paul Silas, but Paul Simon, you feel it slip sliding away. You can call timeout, but you run out of things to say, and sometimes those timeouts just don't stop the momentum, though. But, again, great performance. I think the Bobcats will be okay for the next couple of weeks, however long Kemba's out. Pardo's my man right there, though. That he came in, did a great job of giving him a lift with some offense, and I think he can buy them some time until they can get Kemba back, though. But, 2 more games this week at home, 2 big games against 2 very good basketball teams.
Yeah, I mean, they actually have – starting this week off, this was a big week for them, Coach. 4 games in this week. Starting off here with the Raptors at home, who, again, I said are a playoff team right now, so you go against them. You come in and you play the Clippers on Wednesday, who we all know what they can do. That's going to be a tough game. You go on the road back to the Knicks, who you just beat here last week, and they're a contending playoff team. And then you come home against the Bulls on Saturday, which is a contending playoff team. So you got 3 out of 4 year games against contending East playoff teams. It's a tough time to lose Kemba, but like you said, if those guys can continue to step up, the one thing about Pargo is he can really shoot the ball, so he can provide some scoring off the bench. Sessions gets inserted into the starting lineup. And the thing I focused on after the game, Coach, I wanted to ask the players was, we see Al Jefferson get off to these huge starts, and we've seen the last 2 games with Miami and Toronto, they adjust, and the Bobcats kind of struggle because they're locking in so much on Jefferson that they can't get him the ball, so somebody else has to step up. And so I wanted to ask the players, what can they do differently? And the one thing Coach said was that other players got to score, and that's what Sessions did tonight and Pargo did tonight. So when Al Jefferson gets it going and the defense collapses on him where he can't do anything, other players got to step up. And where Sessions talked about, they got to practice tomorrow, they're going to work on that kind of stuff. And if they can get that where they can get the ball to Jefferson late, you're right, Coach, this team might be all right without Kemba Walker until he can get back. It was good news on his injury yesterday.
Yes, it was. We were thinking maybe 4 to 6 weeks. We're looking probably at 2 weeks right now, though. And All-Star break will kind of figure in, give him a chance to get a little bit of rest time right there, too, though. But, some other guys stepped up today. Josh McRoberts looked to shoot the ball a little bit more, was an offensive factor. You had AD AT come in and get a couple of big threes, get 8 points off the bench right there, though. But that's what it's going to take, though. But again, in the fourth quarter, again, we still are waiting for a Gerald Henderson sighting. He's got to step up. He's one of your big three. When you got Kemba out, you got Al being taken out of the game, then this is the guy who's getting the big bucks to step up. He's going to have to be able to do it. Got some good shots, but he's got to start knocking some of these shots down.
He only made 4 of 11, but the one thing we can't give him credit for today was that he got to the line 10 times. And late in that game, he made a couple of big plays. He got a couple of big rebounds on missed shots and made 3 out of 4 free throws down the stretch. So that's good to see. But you're right, Coach. When they're collapsing on Al like that, Henderson, who likes to shoot that mid-range jump shot and likes to shoot that fadeaway, those are the shots he's got to hit when they're collapsing on Jefferson and Jefferson's kicking the ball out. So hopefully he can get that going. If he can get that going with Sessions penetrating and Jefferson scoring down low, and if McRoberts and Anthony Tolliver can continue to knock down a couple of big shots, maybe this team can hang on until Kemba gets back, because, again, they're 18-25 right now. They're sitting right around that 7th or 8th seed in the Eastern Conference, so they're battling for a playoff spot. This team is in it. If they can maintain until Kemba come back, maybe they can make a playoff push. We'll see.
This team is a little bit over halfway in the season now, about 2 games over halfway. Have won 18 games. I think they're 3 wins away from last year. One of our colleagues predicted last year a 36-win season.
Yeah.
They've got half the season to go. If they can duplicate what they did now, they'd be sitting right on what he said right there. How many wins do you think this team can get?
Man, that's tough for me. You know, at the start of the year, I said 33 wins. You know, you get a guy like Al Jefferson, who I knew he was a producer down low. He's going to give you what he gives you every night, 20 and 10 for the 3rd straight game. So you know you're going to get it from him. With Kemba improving, I thought Henderson would improve more. He really hasn't. I thought this team could make a push for 33 wins, and in the East, that puts you in the playoff hunt, because really you can be the last spot in it under 500. So, but again, this team has a chance. Like you said, they're halfway to that 36-win mark that our colleague made. And you know, it's all going to depend on how long Kemba's out. If they can maintain till he gets back. We saw it tonight even without him. They're playing some of their best ball offensively. Another great game with a lot of assists where they're moving the ball around. This team's got a chance in the East. If I had a guess right now, they're sitting on 18 wins. I would put it around my same mark that I put early on, 33 wins before the season. And again, I don't know if that'll get you a playoff spot, but it'll punch you in the hunt for most of the season, which will make it fun for us to cover and make it fun for these fans to watch. We know they're not there yet as far as being a contender when you make the playoffs, but they can push for a playoff spot. And if Al keeps playing like he's playing, you never know what can happen. What would you say?
I'm thinking 30-plus right now, though. And, you know, I'm wondering, though, do you actually want to go in as an 8 seed, or would you rather miss that thing and get another pick, possibly a lottery pick, something like that, though? The fans, from the fan standpoint, you want to be a part of the playoffs in that atmosphere and sniff it. But from a coaching and franchise standpoint, you may be better off if you don't.
But that's what makes it so tough, Coach. You hit the nail on the head right there. You have half the fan base saying, hey, if we can get a playoff spot this year, let's get it. You have the other half of the fan base saying, this could be the best NBA draft in 10 years coming up, and you don't want to just make it into the 8th seed and lose in the first round. You'd rather build a pick in this draft to continue to build this team because they are improving. So what do you want? And for me personally, yes, would I like to have a good pick in this draft, knowing that you could get a really good player to go along with Kemba Walker and Al Jefferson. But at the same time, Coach, remember who we're talking about here. We're talking about the Charlotte Bobcats, who were supposed to get Anthony Davis, didn't get the #1 pick. They had the 2nd worst record last year, and they got the 4th pick. They didn't even get a top 3 pick. So do you really want to take a chance with the lottery again and maybe not get the pick that you think you're going to get? Because it's not guaranteed. You could have the worst record like we did 2 years ago, and you don't get the first pick. So I don't like taking my chances with the lottery anymore. Let's just go out and play basketball. If we win enough games to get in the playoffs, then we make the playoffs, and we just got to build a team a different way. But I'm tired of basing our chances on the lottery because it has not went our way.
In other words, it is what it is, and what happens, happens.
Exactly.
And you're talking about that, you know, because you run into a situation, a lot of people were not happy with the 4th pick who we took right there, though. And this was a guy I was really frustrated with. We're talking about Cody Zeller earlier in the year that I thought was really hurting the team, was not doing anything. But Cody is not doing anything spectacular. A lot of people said he needs to go back to the D-League. I totally disagree with that, though, because he is buying them time. He's buying them minutes to give Al a break, or basically give Jesus a break. McRoberts a break. Right there, it slipped my mind for a minute there, though. But he's not doing anything like he did early in the year by taking bad shots, playing weak, passive. He is holding his own, and he's eating minutes which is what we need him to do right now and not hurt the team.
And you know the good thing about it, Coach, we talked about this earlier in the year. How many times do we get that high draft pick and we have to throw him into the start lineup because we don't have anybody to play, and he gets out there and he looks even worse in the starting lineup when he's trying to really produce for a team. At least we have the luxury now. We have McRoberts starting where he can come off the bench and learn. He doesn't have to be a focal point in the starting offense. Like you said, Coach, he can come in and just provide a relief until McRoberts can get back in. And that's huge, I think. That's why I don't think he needs to go to the D-League. If he was, if he was thrust in there playing 35, 40 minutes a night, we might see a drop-off here. But, he's coming in playing 10, 15 minutes a game. He's learning. And, again, Coach, we go back to this draft. They got the 4th pick. Nobody in this draft has really taken off. The number 1 pick, Anthony Bennett, has barely been seen. So what were the Bobcats supposed to do? They had to take who they could take at number 4, and that was Cody Zeller. I don't think it's a bust yet. I mean, it's way too early for that. So, again, don't base your chances on the lottery. Hey, we have a decent enough team to maybe make a playoff run. So why not make the push and play basketball and try to get some wins? All these fans, Coach, 2 years ago were so mad that we didn't put a product on the court. Well, don't get mad now that we're competing for a playoff spot because you want a draft pick in this draft. You can't have it both ways.
And again, I go back. Great moves have been made by Cho right here, though. I talk about what a steal it was getting Josh McRoberts. Bringing Jefferson in right now. That things are starting to shape up, fall into place. A competitive team. We're starting to get good fan support. And, man, changing gears for a minute, the buzz is back. I mean, with the merchandise being sold, you can't even go in the team store buying all the Hornet stuff right now. And probably I'll be making a trip there after we finish this video today right here, though. But they got some pretty neat stuff. They're getting more stuff, though. But, man, this is going to be a financial genius move right here, changing that, because the Hornet merchandise is about as hot as the Saturday night special.
The franchise is got great things going. They got a better product on the floor. They got the name change coming. And, Coach, you talk about steals like McRoberts. I don't think people realize how much of a steal Al Jefferson is. I know you pay him, it's a lot of money. It's $12.5, $13 million a year, and you look at that number and go, whoa. But when you got a guy out there who's giving you 20 and 10 every night, and you only really are locked into his contract for 2 years, so you're not locking him up long term, I think that's a steal when you can get a guy like that who can provide you 20 and 10 down low. We've never had that, and look what it's providing to the team right now.
Well, I'll go a step further. Look at the guy who I think was a steal that we picked up as a free agent, Ramon Sessions, who's stepping in right now, scored over 20 today, getting the job done. Again, was a great pickup that we got from the Lakers, a couple of years ago.
Right. I mean, another good pickup. And again, we're not saying this team's there yet because they do have a long way to go, but the product on the floor is a lot better. And in this East, which is down in competition, we do have to admit that, you still can complete for a playoff spot. And for fans, that's got to bring excitement. For us, that's got to bring excitement to cover. So, like I said, let the chips fall where they fall. If you can go out here and win basketball games on the floor like I did today, then go out there and win basketball games, and let's just see what happens.
Bottom line is the Bobcats get a 5-point win. We can take a deep breath. I thought that one was about to, again, slip sliding away. No, that was not by Paul Silas. It was by Paul Simon right there, the song, though. But the buzz is back, and we'll do it again on Wednesday as Blake Griffin and the Clippers, Doc River and company, come to town. Another test on Wednesday night. I'm challenging you right now, telling you it is Jerome and I's GQ challenge night. It will be time to break out the teal and purple bow tie. I've got the pink socks on today to match the sweater. I'm not going to pull my pants lug up and fall out the stands, though. But Jerome and I got a GQ contest going right now. One of the communication guys, tune in and see if my outfit wins, though.
I'll let you know the result. I'll be the judge. We'll also have some other judges, but I'll make sure that he provides the correct result afterwards. But I like Coach's chances.
So not only will it be Wednesday night basketball is fun, but it's also going to be communications representative versus Cox Sports Broadcasting representative in GQ night. This wraps it up today from Time Warner Arena. We'll see you on Wednesday night. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.